Some people wait for weekends like it's a festival. Friday night arrives and suddenly the whole mood changes. Work stress disappears, alarms are ignored, and the brain finally says, okay, now I can breathe. But here's something interesting. Some people spend their weekend exploring the city, meeting friends, traveling, trying new food. And some people just stay at home in pajamas the whole day watching videos. And honestly, both can be perfect weekends, because weekends are not just about activities. They're about how you recharge yourself. And that is exactly what we are talking about today. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Daily Communication Star. I'm your host Rohan, and this is the place where we practice real English conversations in a relaxed and natural way. No pressure, no complicated grammar lectures, just friendly discussions that help you become comfortable with English communication. Today's topic is something everyone loves talking about: weekend conversations. What do we do on weekends? How do we relax? What makes a perfect weekend? To make this conversation fun and real, I've invited a guest today. She's cheerful, thoughtful, and has some interesting weekend stories. Please welcome Grace.
Hi, Rohan. Thank you for inviting me. I'm actually very excited to be here, and also a little nervous, but excited more.
That's completely normal. Podcasts can feel like a friendly chat, but once the microphone is on, suddenly everything feels official.
Exactly. When you said, "Welcome to the podcast," my brain suddenly became serious.
Don't worry, this podcast is very relaxed. Just imagine we are sitting in a cafe talking about life.
That actually makes me feel comfortable already.
All right, Grace, let's start with something simple. When you hear the word weekend, what is the first feeling that comes to your mind?
Peace. That's the first word. Peace and freedom.
Freedom from what?
From alarms, from rushing, from checking the clock every 5 minutes.
That is very relatable. The weekday alarm feels like an enemy sometimes.
Yes, but on weekends, I wake up naturally, and that feels amazing.
So Grace, how does your typical weekend morning start?
Honestly, very slowly.
That sounds perfect.
I wake up, stretch a little, check my phone, and then I stay in bed for another 15 minutes.
Ah, yes, the famous 5 more minutes that becomes 15 minutes.
Exactly. But I think that slow start makes the weekend feel special.
What about breakfast? Do you cook something special on weekends?
Sometimes, if I feel energetic, I try making pancakes or something new. But if I feel lazy, I just order food.
Weekend laziness is allowed.
Absolutely. Weekends are not for strict schedules.
Tell me one funny weekend story, something unexpected.
Okay, this is embarrassing. One weekend, I planned a productive Saturday. I made a big list of things to do: cleaning, organizing, reading, exercising.
That sounds very ambitious.
Yes, but then I started watching one video online.
Uh-oh.
One video became another video, then another, and suddenly it was evening.
So the productivity plan failed?
Completely failed. But honestly, it was still a relaxing day.
That actually brings an interesting point. Weekends are important for mental health. Sometimes doing nothing is also necessary.
Yes, people forget that rest is productive too. If you rest well, you start the next week with more energy.
Exactly. Sometimes our brain needs silence. Do you usually spend weekends alone or with friends?
Both. Some weekends I meet friends. We go to a cafe, walk around the city, or watch a movie.
That sounds fun.
Yes, but sometimes I enjoy quiet weekends more.
Interesting. Why is that?
Because weekdays are already busy, so quiet weekends help me reset.
When you meet friends on weekends, what do you usually do?
Mostly talk and laugh. Sometimes we plan activities, but most of the time we just sit somewhere and talk for hours.
That's the best type of friendship.
Yes, the kind where conversation never ends.
Let's be honest, food plays a huge role in weekends.
Absolutely. Weekend food tastes better somehow.
What's your favorite weekend food?
Pizza, without guilt.
The weekend calories don't count rule.
Exactly.
Do you like watching movies on weekends?
Yes, especially late night movies.
That's a classic weekend activity.
Sometimes I start a movie and fall asleep halfway.
That happens to everyone.
Sometimes I watch an entire series in one weekend.
That is dangerous.
Yes, you tell yourself just one episode, and suddenly it's 2 a.m.
The power of cliffhangers. And by the way, while we are enjoying this conversation, if you are listening to this podcast and you still haven't liked the video or subscribed to our channel Daily Communication Star, then please consider doing it. Your one click of support helps us a lot and motivates us to create more conversations like this. All right, now let's continue our weekend chat.
Yes, let's continue.
Grace, do you like outdoor weekends? Parks, walking, exploring the city?
Yes, actually, I love evening walks, especially when the weather's nice.
Walking clears the mind.
Exactly. Sometimes I listen to music while walking, sometimes I just observe people.
People watching? That sounds interesting.
Yes, you see couples arguing, kids running, friends laughing. It feels like watching small stories happening everywhere.
That's actually beautiful. Weekend nights feel different from weekday nights. Do you feel that too?
Definitely. Weekend nights feel lighter. There's no pressure of waking up early.
Exactly. That freedom changes the mood. Do you ever use weekends to think about life?
Yes, sometimes. I reflect on the week, think about goals, or think about what I want to improve.
That's a healthy habit.
Sometimes I also think about small good things that happened during the week.
That's gratitude, and it's powerful.
Yes, it changes your mindset.
Okay, Grace, quick question. Lazy weekend or adventurous weekend?
Lazy weekend, no doubt.
Ha ha, honest answer.
But sometimes adventurous weekends are exciting too.
Grace, while we were talking about lazy weekends and adventurous weekends, something interesting came to my mind. Some people plan their weekends very carefully. They create a schedule: Saturday morning gym, afternoon shopping, evening dinner with friends. But other people, they wake up and decide everything spontaneously. Which category do you belong to?
Honestly, Rohan, I belong to the second category. Planning too much on weekends feels like work.
I completely understand that. Weekdays already have enough planning. Weekends should feel natural. Have you ever taken a sudden weekend trip? Like waking up and deciding, let's go somewhere today?
Oh yes, that happened once with my friends. It was a Saturday morning. We were just chatting in our group chat and someone said, "Why don't we go somewhere today?" At first we were joking, but then one friend said, "Let's actually do it."
So you really went somewhere?
Yes, within 1 hour we packed small bags and left for a nearby hill station.
That sounds amazing.
It was chaotic, but fun. We forgot many things. One friend forgot a jacket, another forgot snacks.
Classic unplanned trip problems.
Exactly. But honestly, those imperfect trips become the best memories.
Now I want to hear a weekend disaster story, something that went completely wrong.
Oh no, I have one. And it's embarrassing.
Even better, our listeners will enjoy it.
Okay, one Sunday I decided to cook something special. I watched a cooking video and thought, this looks easy.
Dangerous thought.
Yes, the recipe said simple homemade pasta, but somehow everything went wrong. The sauce burned, the pasta became too soft, and the kitchen looked like a battlefield.
So the cooking experiment failed?
Completely. In the end, I ordered pizza.
That is the universal solution. But not every weekend needs excitement. Sometimes the most peaceful weekends are simple. For example, sitting with a cup of coffee and listening to music.
Yes, those quiet moments are very special. Sometimes I sit near my window with tea and just watch the sky.
That sounds calming.
It really is. It helps me slow down and think.
Do you ever use weekends to reflect on your goals?
Yes, sometimes. Not in a stressful way, but just thinking about where I am in life, what I want to improve, what I learned during the week.
That's actually a healthy habit. Many successful people use weekends for reflection. Do you have any hobbies that you enjoy on weekends?
Yes, I like sketching sometimes. I'm not a professional artist, but it relaxes my mind.
Creative hobbies are powerful. They reduce stress.
Exactly. Even simple hobbies like drawing or journaling can make weekends meaningful.
Let's talk about friends again, because weekends and friends are strongly connected.
Yes, weekends without friends sometimes feel incomplete.
What is the funniest moment you remember with your friends on a weekend?
Oh, there are many. But one time we went to a cafe. We were laughing so loudly that people at other tables started staring at us.
That's when you know the conversation is good.
Yes, one of my friends told a story that was so funny we couldn't stop laughing.
Those moments are priceless. Nowadays, many people talk about digital detox weekends, meaning they avoid phones and social media. Have you ever tried that?
I tried once. It was difficult in the beginning. My hand kept reaching for my phone automatically.
That's the modern addiction.
Yes, but after some time, it felt peaceful. I read a book and went for a walk.
Let's talk about Sunday evening, that strange moment when the weekend is almost over.
Ah, yes, Sunday evening has a different emotion. Half relaxation, half preparation for Monday.
Exactly. Some people feel a little sad because the weekend is ending.
But I try to keep Sunday evenings calm, maybe watch a movie or organize things for the week.
If you had to give one piece of advice about weekends, what would it be?
I would say don't compare your weekends with others. Some people travel, some people rest. Both are valid.
That's a great point. Social media sometimes makes people feel like they must always be doing something exciting.
Yes, but a peaceful weekend at home can be just as valuable.
Sometimes the best weekend moment is something very simple: a good conversation, a walk with a friend, a quiet cup of tea.
Yes, happiness is often hidden in small moments.
Okay, Grace, last fun question. Imagine your perfect weekend. What does it look like?
I wake up without an alarm, have a slow breakfast, meet my friends for lunch, take a walk in the evening, watch a movie at night, and laugh a lot during the day.
That sounds like a balanced and happy weekend.
Yes, simple but perfect.
And honestly, that's the real message of today's episode. Weekends are not about doing the most impressive things. They are about recharging your mind, enjoying your time, and creating small, happy memories. Grace, thank you so much for joining today's conversation. It was relaxed, fun, and very real.
Thank you for inviting me, Rohan. I really enjoyed talking about weekends. It felt like a friendly chat.
And to everyone listening or watching this podcast, if you enjoyed this conversation, if it made you smile or reminded you of your own weekend memories, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Daily Communication Star. Your support helps us continue creating these long, natural English conversations for learners around the world. I'm your host, Rohan, and this was another episode of Daily Communication Star. Until next time, enjoy your weekends, keep smiling, and keep practicing English. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.